We are here to preview the Super Bowl preview between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. We're also here to preview all of the Pro Bowl lore that we had across last week, everything that you're desperately missing there, as well as some NBA news and, of course, some coaching hires. But we are here for the big day, the big bowl, the Super Bowl preview.
Yeah, the Super Bowl, you could argue outside of the World Cup, it may be the biggest day in sports. It's definitely the biggest day in sports in America, but it's kind of surreal that we're at this moment, you know?
Yeah.
We get through the entire NFL season, and then all of a sudden, it's championship weekend. You have 2 games, and then you're like, oh, wait. What do I do this day on Sunday where I don't have anything to do? I know you chose to work so you could boycott the Pro Bowl because it's made for mildly entertaining elementary school level people who just want something where they can see their best players run around the field. Like, I get it. You need to have something to watch while you eat your Kraft mac and cheese at home. And then I went skiing to avoid this Pro Bowl, so that was fun this weekend. But we are here, and this may be one of the best rematches of all time in Super Bowl history. I don't know how often we get a chance to see 2 teams that have previously played in a Super Bowl go head to head, a couple years removed. Now we have a different quarterback in San Francisco. We have a different running back in San Francisco, and it seems like to go from just having your number 2 receiver be Brandon Ayuk, and you could argue it's Deebo Samuel now, and he's the Swiss Army knife for that team, being injured, and having Christian McCaffrey now. And then you have someone like Brock Purdy who showed he could come back from being down 24-7 against a really good football team and lead his team to victory. Whereas with Jimmy Garoppolo, they kind of just ran it every single time against the Green Bay Packers, and he didn't really have an impact on that win. Where the Lions game, Brock Purdy had his imprints all over that game, and then Patrick Mahomes, and now that defense having their imprint all over that game versus the Ravens with Steve Spagnuolo now with the Giants disrupting Tom Brady, now disrupting players like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson repeatedly. These are 2 very different teams. We go from a Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce high-flying offense, and now it's more of a Patriots team. And how we saw those Patriots teams where it was, we have high IQ guys who are interchangeable at every position on defense, and they have the smarts to do it together, and they'll make a big play. And then we have Patrick Mahomes, where if you don't bet against anyone currently in sports, it went from Michael Jordan, it went from players like Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Tom Brady, to now it's Mahomes. It's like you have a really hard time picking against him because he is that guy, and he has that relationship with Travis Kelce. So 2 very different teams, and I think this is going to be a very different matchup than what we got the first time.
I agree. I think that you're setting up for a classic where I think that this 49ers team is better than what we saw in 2019, where you have a number 1 running back in the league in Christian McCaffrey. Their running back is definitely taking a step forward. Their wide receivers, I think, are a little bit better. Rather than your number 2 being someone like an Emmanuel Sanders, who is definitely on the last legs of his career, now you have Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel, whoever you want to argue is their number 2. And then they even have someone like Juwan Jennings there. George Kittle is still there. They still have some solid foundational players who haven't left yet, especially on that defense. They added Chase Young there. Diamador Lenore has stepped up since then. And then on the other side, like, I think if you're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo compared to Brock Purdy has shown to be more clutch. He's shown to be stepping up more in the big moment. And he's shown that he doesn't make those costly mistakes as much as Jimmy Garoppolo does too. So for the Chiefs, we know what the Chiefs are. You know what they've become and how Patrick Mahomes is somebody you don't bet against, especially in a year where everyone said they were vulnerable. But on the other side, you have the 49ers, who are definitely a better team since they were in 2019. And a Chiefs team that on paper might not look quite as effective, but that defense has shut down everybody they've faced so far.
Yeah, that defense has shut down everybody that they've faced so far. And then you have someone like Steve Spagnuolo, who just is able to adjust throughout the game. And he's probably the most valuable coach who isn't a head coach in the league. It's basically him and Lou Anarumo when we talk about defensive coordinators in the league at this point, just with what the Bengals and the Chiefs have been able to do. And then you look at just how the Chiefs are embracing being the villain. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is like, okay, if you want me to go away, I'm not going to do that. And if you're going to bet against me, I'm going to go into your stadium and take away all joy, all hope, all happiness that you had. And I'm not just going to love doing it, I'm going to enjoy doing it. And I'm going to take some of that home. And then him and Travis Kelce have really embraced that role. Like, it's mostly about not making mistakes, just making the play at the right time. And then let's let our defense cook. If our defense is just going to chop up the Ravens all game, I don't need to force anything downfield. I don't need to risk throwing it to Martez Valdez-Scantling and him batting it in the air for someone like Kyle Hamilton or Patrick Queen to go ahead and grab, and then we have a negative play on our end. And it really does remind me of the Patriots, because the formula was always that defense, and you have a legendary defensive coordinator on the level defensively of someone like Bill Belichick, because he was the one who's able to help stop that undefeated Patriots team in the Super Bowl with the Giants. He's been able to slow down that San Francisco 49ers team in the Super Bowl when they were down 20-10, and they pretty much needed to stop every single time. So you're seeing that unfold. And then the difference is Andy Reid is so much farther ahead than someone like Josh McDaniels or Bill O'Brien. And then athletically, Patrick Mahomes is just a different beast at this point in his career than Tom Brady. But you can make the comparison to him in clutch time to Brady, and Kelce to Gronk as well, with making the big plays when it matters.
Yeah, and it's at this point now we talk about the Patriots dynasty and what we saw the last 20 years compared to now with the Chiefs. The Chiefs and the Patriots both had the fear factor. And I think that that's something that the Chiefs will have to their advantage when we talk about the Super Bowl and the game itself, because the 49ers, I worry there's this whole meme going around about them coming out to Famous by Kanye West and revving up the crowd there. And as funny as that would be, the Chiefs are a team you don't want to mess with, and they're a team that provides fear in the other opponent. And now at this point, like, you saw what happened to the Ravens and Lamar and how he acted playing uncharacteristically when it came time in the big moments. And then I think that they're a team that they're good. They've been there. They've been there four of the last 5 years, and they're a team that are essentially a dynasty at this point if they win.